Garrett Lynch, what's going on?
What's going on, Michael?
Hey, one of the things I want to talk to you about is I think one of the true effects of COVID is the effect it's having on construction. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so construction right now, everybody's seeing shortage of labor and shortage of materials. It's just what's happening in the market right now, and so it's a reality, and everybody's overcoming it in their own way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's let's talk about how we do that because one of the mistakes that not mistakes necessarily, but I think we underestimated the importance of construction management. Meaning that, especially when you first get started, you kind of rely on your property manager to get stuff done, including turning units and construction, things of that nature. And that may work in smaller projects, but when they get a little bigger, upwards of 10, 20 units, so not that big, our experience has been that proper managers' capabilities are limited. And so what would happen is that we would do these larger projects where we have to turn 3, 4 units, whatever, a month. That's a lot for a property manager to manage. And one thing, if I would do it over again, I think you would agree with that, is instead of only relying on property management companies, the GPs may have to hire their own GC. And that GC may be different for the exterior and the interior. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. So I think what's happening now is you think about, uh, you have different layers between your project getting done and who you're hiring, right? And so if you hire your property management company as the layer to get everything done, there's multiple layers beneath it. They may have a GC that they go to, who has a sub that they go to, who has a supplier that they go to. So all those layers are potential bottlenecks. And when you have issues in the supply chain, you have issues with labor, you want to be as close to the source as possible, because that way you can help solve problems and you'll understand exactly what's going on. Otherwise, what it does is if you start to rely on, let's say, just your property management company to get stuff done, and there's all those layers in beneath, what's going to happen is you're going to get mad at your property manager, and it's going to cause friction between you guys, when the reality is that the issue lies much further beneath. And so the closer you can get to where that issue lies, the quicker you can make pivots and the stronger your relationship will stay with your property manager.
So how close to the source do you have to go? So we're saying property manager might be too high, get right to the general contractor. Do you advise that one should get even lower, like in the subs?
Yeah. I we're going all the way to the subs on our end. So, we have general contractors that we work with, then they have subs or whatever, but you have to kind of understand exactly what's going on at every layer so that you understand their challenges, so that you guys, you can push on something as much as you want, but at the end of the day, the work has to get done. That's the only truth.
So
Or the supplies have to get there.
don't you feel like the general contractor is not they're not going to share with you who their subs are, and even if so, don't you think they would think you're micromanaging them? Like, why would they want to play ball in that way?
Now, I didn't say you have to go talk to the subs. I say you have to know who they are, and you have to watch what they're doing. So, yes, you don't need to necessarily go in there and get whoever the guy, their subs number, and start talking to them on the side or anything like that. But you need to watch and understand, see what they're doing. Are they showing up? Are they spread too thin? Do they have a few people working on a unit that requires 8 people working on it? You need to pay attention to these things on a day-to-day basis, or have someone that you trust that you understand where the bottlenecks exist so that you can go and solve them. And if you can't solve them, you find a replacement on that level. You go to your GC and say, hey, listen, this is what I noticed. There's not enough supervision over here. These people are not showing up. We need to find new subs, or else I need to find a new you.
Right, but now you're holding them accountable to a very detailed level, right? Because you're getting into their stuff at this point, right? Because typically the general contractor should be watching their subs, but
Yes.
we're finding that that's not happening.
It's not happening because of just the natural forces of COVID. So it's a lot of it is figuring out who's to blame where. But quite a bit of the time it's like, oh, there's a material backup. Well, that could actually be true, or it could be an excuse. And sometimes that is really gray. And so that's why being super hands-on at every level is important, so that you seek out the truth and you know exactly where things are falling. I have GCs that have been great that we've worked with this whole time that were doing fantastic, and all of a sudden the wheels started to fall off the bus. Now, they were transparent with us as to what was going on, so I didn't have to go too deep into it. But sometimes you don't always get that. They want to please you, they want to provide. So having those extra eyes on the project, see what's going on, make more visits to the site, and get more involved in like exactly what's happening, what suppliers are falling short. So you, as the operator, as the owner, have a greater ability than most to solve problems. That's what you are paid to do, is to solve problems. And this exists in any department, including construction. So that's how I look at it. I don't know. I'm not a plumber. I don't know a ton about plumbing, right? But I was underneath the building, crawling, trying to figure out what the issue was, because I knew I could help that plumber solve the problem. They may not have been able to see with money or with something else. There are other layers to this. So that's the way I look at it.
I think there's two words that you mentioned in there that really, I think, are a key to how you interact with contractors and your property managers, and that's accountability and transparency. I think you mentioned both of those. Accountability is a little bit more straightforward. Hey, you're going to do what you say you're going to do by the time you're going to say it in the way that you said you would do. That's accountability. The other one, though, is transparency. Therefore, knowing exactly what's happening under the hood, not just a black box, but what is going on. Therefore, you can easily jump in. Anyone can jump in at any point in time. If someone were to leave or get fired or removed, they know exactly what they were working on before. And I think that's super key.